Good morning, Matt's mom! How are you doing, guys? So you may or may not remember that I am away this week on holiday. I don't have enough Wi-Fi to do live lessons. So I've done this recorded one for you so that you're not missing out on your weekly dose of maths and art. So this is my all ages maths lesson. I am Ruth from Joyful Maths with Ruth. I've been teaching maths for 15 years. I home educate my kids and I wanted to bring my super talents of knowledge about maths education and my love and passion of home ed together and bring you these lessons where you vote for the topic each term and I research it and we do some stuff on that topic and I talk about the maths within it. And this term we're doing maths in art. This lesson is all about geometric shapes. So I'm going to do some artwork on that and I'm going to share a little PowerPoint with you. It's going to look a little bit different to usual because I'm recording this. So that's exciting, isn't it? Okay, let's have a look. Let's start. As always, I've got a little something for you to think about, but instead of doing it on that slide, I'm going to do it on here. We've got this house here. Can you see this house in the picture? I'm going to suggest you pause this so you've got some time to think about it because it feels a bit strange when you're recording yourself just to sit here silently waiting for something to happen. Usually I'm like prepping in the background whilst you guys are thinking about this, but what shapes can you see in this picture? What shapes can you see in this picture? There's no wrong answers here. No wrong answers. Okay. I just want to know what shapes you can see in this picture. Pause it whilst you have a think about it. You might have the printout and you can draw on it. If you don't, you can just point them out. Whatever suits you. You might want to copy some of the shapes down. Anything at all. Absolutely fine. But pause it whilst you do it because I'm going to carry on talking about it now. Do pause it. Do pause it. Okay, so what shapes can I see? I'm going to go over a few. I'm going to draw on the screen because I can do that today. I can do that whilst I'm here. I can't usually. Well, I've not worked out how to in my usual lives. Let's have a look at some of them. So we might recognise some shapes like this one here. You recognise that? Like a rectangle? There's quite a few of these in this, isn't there? There's quite a few rectangles in here. We can see them all over the place. There's some really narrow, skinny ones. And some wider ones. We've got them in the chimney and all sorts. But then you might also see some triangles. Triangles popped out to me straight away because look at the shape of the roof. Isn't it cool? Isn't it cool? But there's triangles all over the place as well. Triangle here, triangle here. Loads of triangles. These are geometric shapes because they've got special properties that we can name and they've got a name themselves. If you can name the shape, it's a geometric shape because we've given it a name for a reason. So we talk about the triangle and the rectangle in terms of its height and its width. I can also spot, say, a trapezium over here. Have you heard of that before? A trapezium's one. It's another four-sided shape. It's a bit like a parallelogram, but we've not got all the sides the same length. We've got another one here. And those shapes are geometric shapes. And if you can see any circles as well, a circle is a geometric shape. It's different type because it's not got straight edges. It's not polygon. You might say that this has almost been trimmed into a circle here. That would be a geometric shape. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. But then there's also other shapes, isn't there? There's the natural shapes that we can see in nature. And they tend to be more irregular and they're called organic. I've got that from a art teacher that I know. So like we've got some organic shapes here and you can't name those ones. They've not got specific names because it's very rare that you will see exactly the same organic shape repeated. Very similar ones, and we talk about those in fractals a little bit, but it's not exactly the same. So we have some other cool shapes, but they've not got names. Those ones are not geometric shapes, those ones. Okay, so geometric shapes, the ones we've talked about there, mostly are two-dimensional. That means they are flat. So we could draw them like on a piece of paper, but we couldn't pick them up from that piece of paper. They've got no depth to them. So we've got some geometric 2D shapes here, like a square, trapezium, a triangle, circle, a kite, and how many sides has that got? 8. Octagon. An octagon, but you can also have three-dimensional geometric shapes. So you can have like cubes, we can have prisms, we can have spheres and semispheres, cones, pyramids, tetrahedrons, all of these. They've got special names again. So they are geometric shapes because they've got special properties. Okay, we're going to start doing a bit of artwork. So I'm going to just change my viewpoint here because I want to show you what to be able to do. Oh, I was inspired to do this by Islamic art that I've seen, where they use lots of geometric properties, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And I half thought about trying to guide you through some of that. It's in the end I concluded it was going to be too complicated to do in this lesson. But do Google it. Do Google some there's some amazing videos out there that does guide you through it, and I will definitely talk about it. So I decided to go for something that I thought is really effective, really bright and colourful. Gives us lots of geometric shapes, but we could achieve in an easy way with things we have at home. So if you've got some tape, I said if you've got some masking tape to bring it, fab, this is where we're going to use it. If you don't have masking tape, you can just do this with like a big fat pen and a ruler. Essentially, we're going to create lots of lines going across our piece of paper. Lots of, we could do, I mean, if you're doing it with a pen, you could actually draw on like a circle, for example, if you wanted to, because that is a geometric shape. But if you're doing it with the tape, it's not going to be possible to create a circle with that. So we're just taking the tape and doing lots of lines across. These lines can intersect each other, they can go across each other, they can touch each other and not cross each other. We're essentially creating lots and lots of geometric shapes by placing this tape. Just realised this isn't very far up, is it? Let's do a little bit further up like that. By placing this tape across lots of different times. Okay, so you're going to keep doing that as much as you like. It can be super effective to do it loads. It can be super effective to just do a few pieces. But as much as you like, you're going to put your tape across. Just hold this up again. Tape across, or using your black pen or your big fat pen and your ruler, you'll draw straight lines. And if you're doing it that way, you could add in things like circles too, if you've got something to draw around, or a compass maybe. Okay. So start off by doing that, whilst I talk to you a little bit about Islamic geometry. Okay, so you're going to have to let me faff a little bit here. Give me a sec. Okay, so here we go. This is my reminder to do your lines across your paper. Islamic geometry it is absolutely beautiful. You see it in artwork, in things like you see it in tiles, in mosques. You'll see it in fabric. It's absolutely stunning. And what I really like about it is we get these absolutely stunning shapes and beautiful pieces of artwork, but there's loads of maths in the background that's happened to get to that point. So that's what I wanted to talk a little bit about. So there's specific rules that you start off with, and there's different ways of doing it, but I'm going to show you like a rough idea of one method. So Islamic geometry starts off with a circle, which I think you can see that in this picture here, can't you? In this picture here, you can see the circle very obviously. I think it's less obvious, this orange one is based on a circle, but it is. It is. I think that's left. It's to do with the fact that it's super, super symmetrical, because we can keep turning it around, so it's got loads of rotational symmetry, and you can fold it in infinite ways for reflectional symmetry too. So circles are an amazing thing to base lots of artwork on, even though they don't tessellate. So we start off with a circle, and then you can do some folds. So the different folds create different patterns, and the folds are talking about how many sections you're breaking up into. So here you can see I've broken mine up into 4 different sections. I believe then that it's called a 4-fold. Can't remember exactly. I wish I'd written it on the PowerPoint so I could remember exactly. And then you use some grid lines. So you can see I've got diagonals on here, and I've split it up into some smaller squares as well, and use that as a basis to draw repeated patterns around. And it's those repeated patterns that you would then go over in bold, and they're the bits that you would keep. And maybe you can start to see it here in this orange shape, where that would have come from. We can see this repeated pattern from that grid. And maybe you can see it in here in these tiles as well. The repeated pattern that's happening. This one, it's not been folded. Has it been folded in before? That might be a 4-1 as well, actually, thinking about it. What do we reckon? Or that could potentially be 8? Maybe even split up into 8? Anyway, so that is worth an explore. You get some absolutely really cool patterns with that, and it's really fun to explore. But you have to be quite accurate with your drawing in the first place. And it was the circle. The circle was the bit that I was struggling with if we were to do it. Okay, so back to our artwork. This lesson's going to be a little bit shorter today because I'm appreciating that you might have to do some pausing because I haven't got that same level of interaction. So it's going to be a little bit shorter because we've not got all the pausing bits of chat, which is enjoyable. But anyway, it's what I could manage today. Let's stop this share and bring it down here. So at this point, once you've got all the tape or the lines on that you want, the idea is to use as many colours as possible to fill in these sections. So to colour in the different sections. It depends how many colours you've got. You may have to use colours more than once. I had to. But the idea is not to have colours touching. So if I drew green in this bit, so it depends. If you've got tape, you have to be slightly less careful. But if you've got if you've done this with pen, you have to be really careful not to go over the lines, which I've just done there, but still, you can't do everything perfectly. So I'm doing this quite roughly here. You could do this with pens or paint or colouring pencils, anything that suits you. And we're colouring in each section in different colours. So once I've done that bit in green, I might want to do this bit in pink here. Until all of them, all of the different sections are coloured in different colours. Okay, I'll show you as it happened. I tried to video this yesterday and it didn't go well. There's lots of noise in the background, so I had to give up. So I happen to have one. I happen to have one that I finished yesterday. I did this one with paint. We've got some really vibrant watercolour paints that I use, but anything would work. So you can see I've had to repeat some of the colours because I didn't have enough different colours to do every single section. But I've not made any of them touching. So the different colours are not touching each other. Okay, so the idea is to keep going until you've coloured them all in, and take your time with that. You may not finish that in this time. It depends what you're using. Paints can be quite quick. If you're colouring in, that might take you quite a bit of time. That might take you quite a long time to do. So yeah, do it at your own pace. That's absolutely fine. There's no rush in this. Never any rush. No rush in maths, no rush in arts. Let's go back to this so you can have a little look. So that was my reminder to tell you to do that. Oh, sacred geometry. Has anyone heard of that? Yeah, I've only heard it. It's a funny thing where I've accidentally been drawing sacred geometry for years without knowing I was doing it or what it was. I've only been introduced to it recently. And what just have a look at these. So these are just three examples. We've got the seed of life, lotus of life, and the flower of life. Take a minute to really look at those and see if there's anything you notice about them. Anything you notice at all. Is there a word or a couple of words that really just jump out to you about those pictures? For me, feel free to pause this if you want a bit of time. For me, I think probably the two words that jump out is flowers, because I can see flowers in these. I can see flower in the center of this one, maybe quite a bubbly flower around the edge, flower in the center here, and lots of flowers in this one, in the flower of life. Also, the other word that jumps out to me is circles. These three pictures have been drawn entirely from circles, which I just think is really, really cool because you can see loads of different shapes in there, but it's all been created from circles. And I am going to do a lesson all about curves, and I'm going to talk about circles in that one as well, and how that comes into art and how cool that is too. But just for today, I just wanted to focus in the circles because they are a geometric shape and how we can create loads of patterns with them. And actually, there's lots of things hidden within these too. If you look here, I've just taken one of those and shown you here that if I put a triangle over the top of this, can you see that red triangle? I've joined up 3 points where circles are intersecting. That means they're crossing over each other. And what I've got is a perfect equilateral triangle. And actually, I could draw those all over this. They are all over it. And it links back to hexagons and equilateral triangles that we've explored before. And circles are really, really useful with this. That's because with a circle, you've got this one key measurement, which is a radius, which I'll talk a little bit about now, actually. So a radius is the distance from the center of a circle to the edge of a circle. So if I show you I've got a compass here. I'll just show you. So the radius is the measurement from the center of a circle to the edge. And if you've got a center of compasses, this can be really, really cool to explore, just playing with drawing circles. So the point of the compass to the point of my pencil will be my radius, because that's going to be the center of my circle, and my pencil is going to go around the edge of my circle. So that is your key measurement in a circle, is that the radius. And that's our distance from the center to the edge. And we could measure it in any direction. It'll be a radius, the center to the edge, center to the edge. It's kind of like spokes on a bicycle wheel. And what we could do is explore with that. I've maybe done this one a little bit too big, because I think if I go to the edge, I'm going to go off the paper. Oh, I've done some on the back there. Let me get a clean piece of paper. Let me get a clean piece of paper to explore this with. So if we go on here, if I start drawing circles, what you might see is some really cool patterns. If you keep your compass at the same radius, so the same distance between the 2 points, you can start to see just cool patterns emerging just by going to the edge of your circle and drawing. That's what you might notice. Do you notice anything there? Maybe I ought to highlight this a bit. So that's where my original compass point was. And we draw another circle around like this. And then if I go to an intersecting point, so an intersecting point is where they cross over, I can draw another circle. And I can keep going to these intersecting points and see what patterns come out. Oh, it does go wobbly. One of the key things about using a compass actually is try not to hold the pencil side, because that does make it wobble a bit more. Try to stab the pointy end in as much as possible without making a massive hole in your paper, and then only use the top and the pointy side to draw with, rather than using the pencil side. And you might see some super cool patterns emerging. I didn't know if people would have compasses, so I thought I would show you this and then let you experiment further at home. And have you noticed that each time I'm doing it, as I go through to the next intersecting point, they're all crossing over this original center point. We're getting this consistent point where everything's crossing over, which is quite cool. Which is quite cool. Well, I think it's quite cool. I think it's quite cool anyway. You can have your own opinion on it, obviously. What do you think? Right, probably, maybe, if you're colouring this in, you won't be finished yet. If you've been painting, I don't know when the best time to take the tape off is. I'm going to suggest that maybe you leave this to dry. Should we see how mine goes? Mine's been left to dry because I did it yesterday. We'll see how mine goes and you can make a decision from there. So the idea is, if you've been using tape, is at this point to take the tape off so that you can see the geometric patterns that you've created. So let's put you right up here so you can see it all. Have a look. So if I pull that off. Ooh. Oh, that looks quite cool, doesn't it? Like this. I tell you what, we spent a lot of lockdown doing this on pavement with chalk. It creates some really cool patterns. Oh, it is ripping my paper a little bit, so I have to be quite gentle with this. I have to be quite gentle. Should we have a look, see how it works out? I'm quite chuffed with this. Thinking this is looking pretty cool. Oh no, gone over the edge a little bit there. Well, life can't be perfect. Life can't be perfect. Whoa, look at that. I'm pretty chuffed with that. That's a nice piece. Look, you can see all the geometric shapes here, can't you? So we've got like, this is a four-sided shape, so that's type of, maybe type of trapezium, I'm not sure. Quadrilateral anyway, lots of four-sided shape. I've got some triangles in here as well. I've got maybe a bit of almost a kite going on there, haven't I? This one, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that one's type of pentagon actually. But it's anyway, the type of shapes don't matter. The fact is it looks really cool. So, and obviously I need to neaten mine up. This is that sort of paper where you can actually take the top off. So I probably would do that. I'll take the top off mine. And we end up with that really cool effect of all the geometric shapes. And the lines going through it, which I think look really, really effective. See how I'd love to see your pictures. Send me your pictures of yours, because like, let's face it, they'll be better than mine. They're likely to be a lot better than mine. That's what usually happens. Anyway, okay, let's see. What was I going to say next? I love having a PowerPoint to remind me, because I plan these so far in advance, and then I forget exactly what I'm going to say to you guys, and then I'm like, oh, that's exciting for me too. Yeah, so I talked about experimenting with a set of compasses. This is an artist that I wanted to introduce you to. My sister-in-law found this guy, James Bunt, really, really epic artist. She's met him from Yorkshire. He uses nature to create geometric patterns. Can you see these pictures here? Aren't they incredible? So we've got some star shapes. This one makes me think of like a pine cone going round and round and round. It's quite nice because it's got almost, it looks like it's curving, doesn't it? But if you zoom right in, it's all made up with straight edges, which I just think is absolutely amazing. And he doesn't pre-plan his work. He's inspired by what he finds on the day, which is really, really cool. Go and check out his website. His website's really awesome. Really, really cool stuff. So yeah, that was one of the people we wanted to show you to be inspired by. And maybe you could go out and create your own geometric artwork out in nature too. These look very autumnal, don't they? It might feel very different if you're doing that this time of year. I'm thinking like, you know, with the weather being so nice, there might be lots of flowers out there, so yours might look wildly different. You might have petals and grass and things like, oh, grasses could look incredible, couldn't they? So that was just another idea and a bit of inspiration from an artist and their geometric work in art. So I purposely kept today's lesson shorter because it's a recorded one. I just think that recorded ones maybe just need to be a little bit shorter. Less interaction, time to pause and do what you were doing. But as usual, these lessons are totally free. They're free for all home educators, well, anyone that wants to use them. I can't tell if you're home educating or not. But the idea is that I wanted to support my home educating community. If you do want to support these lessons, you can do in two different ways. You can join the triangles for £5 a month. If you do that, oh, let me just go and grab it. I will send you through the post my Maths Mob memo, which is all about fractals. There's lots of hands-on activities to explore this really, really cool area of maths. There's engineering activities, there's artwork that you can do, and there's lots of puzzles in there as well. I'm currently working on the next one, which is all about weather. Hopefully get that to you guys soon. And I'm trying to work out a way for you guys to have like your own mini Math Mob monkey, but you have to leave it with me. I'm still working on that. And I'll send that through with some funky stickers and some origami paper. If you support for £6 a month, I also throw in downloadable workbooks, so you can use them in the lesson. There's no pressure to write at any point, but it might be nice to have the pictures in front of you to circle and things like that. There's spaces to draw and colour and make sketches. But what I think the really valuable bit is the back bit, the bit where we've got different ideas to explore at home. So I link to different artists and videos that link to the lesson, and you can use those at home. And there's one for this lesson too if you are already a Square member, and that's for £6 a month. Otherwise, I'm going to say thank you so much for joining me and watching this video next week. Because I'm not live and I can't see comments and things, please do feel free to send me pictures. I'll put up a little post. I'll put up a little post where you can send me the pictures of the things you've created from this week. So I'll pop that on Facebook so that you can do that and I can see them, which will be awesome. Otherwise, I'm going to be live again next week. So it'll be Tuesday at 9 o'clock on Facebook and at 11:30 on Friday on YouTube, doing curves. We're going to do curves in maths and art. Thank you so much. Bye for now, guys, and I'll see you soon.